Hey Funnel Builders, bit of a different one this week, or today. Rather than doing a regular video, I asked if people had any questions for me, kind of in a non-funnel Ask Me Anything way. So I've got the list of questions here on the Facebook thread. I'm sure I'll put the questions on the screen as well, but I figured I'd just go through and answer them. So first question from Sunil. Hey Sunil, how you doing? Basically, we are all a bunch of nerds who spend a lot of time sitting down. Tell me about it. Personally, I can't highly enough recommend committing to a range of physical disciplines to get involved with at least 3 times a week. Are you still doing Muay Thai, Mike? What is everyone else doing to keep their physical toughness and body intelligence challenged and engaged? Great question, Sunil. So I think I'm a pretty active person. I don't do Muay Thai anymore, not because I don't like it. It's just the timings didn't work out, and the way the time the gym is open is not when I'm around, unfortunately. So I do CrossFit 5 times a week. I do it in the morning, every single morning, and I really enjoy doing that. I also run quite a lot. I go for a lot of walks with the dog. I'm a big believer that the more active time you can spend, doing stuff, it's better for you. The reason I like to do it in the morning is because I like to, I find that it kind of charges my brain up, and then I'm a bit like groggy throughout the rest of the day. So that's what I do. Really good question. And let me know in the comments below what you guys do. Emily's got a lot of questions on it, which is great. I'm really happy with. What is your favorite smoothie? Do you eat power food like spirulina and maca? So my favorite smoothie is probably mango and banana, which is pretty much pure sugar. So there's not a huge amount of health benefits in that. We do drink quite a lot of naked smoothies. I'm conscious that I can't eat too much of them because there's a lot of sugar in them, and I already get too much sugar in my diet. So yeah, probably that. I also really like kind of oat and yogurt and strawberry with, porridge and stuff in them. I love those as a smoothie with yogurt and stuff. Those are really good too. But I tend to try and have a full proper breakfast if I'm going to have anything in the morning. Alf asks, how much is your minimum income today, mate? Just curious. So I did try to ask, does Alf mean my minimum price or how much I generate per day or per year? I'm not massively comfortable telling you how much I made this year or last year, but I can tell you that my day rate at absolute minimum is $1,500 to have me for a day. That price will probably go up soon. A 2-hour call is $497 as well. And again, that price is probably going to go up. I do have a few minimum prices, like the lowest project that I did last year was 25. No, it's not. That's not true. My lowest project was 11 grand. That was last year. My lowest price this year, I think, has been 18 grand for a marketing funnel project. But yeah, those are my kind of minimum price ranges. Emily asks, this is one of my favorite questions. If I came to dinner, what would you or Liv cook? So chances are, Emily, if you came to dinner, I would cook. Liv is a fantastic cook, but I would cook. For those who don't know, I was a trained chef for a long time, and ended up giving it up because it was too much like hard work, and I wanted a job with air conditioning. I really like communal food. So Emily, I'm assuming you'd come over with your partner, and Liv and I, and so there'd be the 4 of us. So I really like communal food. So I like food like salads and burritos, or I like a lot of pasta and stuff. So chances are, if I was going to cook for you, we'd probably do burritos. So we just cook a ton of steak and mince. We do a load of peppers, a load of different and lots of different spices. We'd have guacamole, fresh guacamole with a fresh new salsa made with a little bit of lime juice in that, as well as some sour cream, a couple of different types of cheeses, maybe some nachos, some really lovely fresh crisp lettuce, lots of chives as well. Put that in the sour cream, and it means that we can all kind of sit around the table, dig in, help ourselves make our wraps, and kind of talk to each other. I like proper dinner parties, but I feel when you've got friends over, what you want to do is get involved, have conversations, and kind of get to know each other. So that's probably what I'd cook. I'd love to know what you would cook as well. Let me know in the comments. Matt says, if I could switch places with any person in the world for one day to see what their life was like, who would it be and why? This can be a historical figure too if you totally dig history. If I had to switch places with anyone in the world right now, it's a bit of a, it's actually back to the food stuff. If I had to switch places with anyone in the world, it would probably be Alain Passard from Arpège, who is a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Paris. The guy's a massive hero of mine. I think he's fucking just this outstanding cook, and I believe at the moment his restaurant has actually gone back to serving a little bit of meat, but for a time he was entirely vegetarian, which had never been done before. I think he's been featured on Chef's Table, maybe. But just to see how his garden and system and kind of restaurant works would be fascinating to me, just to learn how do you turn vegetables, which are predominantly seen as a kind of like middle of the line, like a side dish, into a 3 Michelin star thing. I think they would find out pretty quickly that I had switched places with him, because they would say, hey, Alan, what do we do with this? And I'd be like, I've got no fucking idea, you figure it out. So pretty quickly they'd figure out it's not Alan there. But yeah, that's who I would do. Matt says, what one tip for life would you like every single person on this planet to know? The biggest tip I would like everyone to know, outside of business or anything, is once you leave school, nothing that you did in school fucking matters. And I don't just mean that in an education perspective, because obviously as you progress your education, that's extremely important. What I mean is the social structures and the bullying and the social hierarchies that you have at school when you're 16, 17, they literally disappear overnight. Everything that you thought was important at school becomes completely unimportant the second you leave school. So just grind it out, get through it, get a decent education, and realize that you never have to go back there ever again, and that all of the people who, maybe you've got some best friends and you really enjoyed school, so that would be the flip side of it, is don't think that if you really enjoyed school that that's it. There's this huge whole world out there waiting for you to kind of go and explore it, and it seems like your entire world revolves around this tiny microcosm of a few hundred people at the time, and it doesn't. It changes dramatically overnight. And as soon as I learned that, I was like, well, what's the next stage for that? And I'm like, okay, well, when I leave the world of corporate, it turns out the world of corporate marketing is not the only world. So keep pushing past that. But yeah, that would be something I think people should learn very early on, is that enjoy school for what it is, even if you're having a good time or if you're having a bad time. I hated school. I hated every single second of it. It's probably why I never turned up to it. But don't think that that is going to define the rest of your life. You at the age of 18 are not who you are at the age of 17 in school. Matt also asks, what do I need to get for you to buy a product from me? Keep selling to me, mate. It's coming. Just keep selling. Gareth Michael Healy, who is one of my accountability partners in the KPI group, really good guy. In fact, he's going to be doing a little bit of training with us later this year. What's the most valuable thing you've learned this year, Michael? What's the most valuable thing you've learned so far this year? The most valuable thing I've learned is that I don't have to do everything. This is two ways. First of all, I don't have to do everything that the world of marketing and media and business says I should. I don't have to do Instagram stories and IGTV and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok. I don't have to do all of that. If I focus on 2 or 3 core areas like YouTube and my Facebook group, and I love writing my blog, chances are I'm going to do a lot better. And on the second side of that, there's a huge amount of the stuff that I'm doing per day that really should be done by somebody else. I'm not that special, I'm not that talented, I'm not that unique. I could train somebody else to do it if I really wanted to, and that's really what I should be working on. Luis Rojas. Sorry if I've mispronounced your name, Luis. Beautiful surname. What advice would you give to someone that has invested a lot of money in education and online courses, but is afraid of starting out to generate money? I know it's about mindset, but how do we know when we're ready to get our first client without the fear of failing? So, Luis, brilliant question. The first thing I would say is you're going to fail. You're going to fail non-stop. I have been running a business now since 2012, and my days are filled with people sending me emails saying you failed at this constantly, loads of stuff. So don't worry about it. Failure doesn't define you. Michelle Obama has a beautiful quote. Failure is a feeling long before it's a reality. And I want you to really resonate with that. Failure is a feeling long before it's a reality. Your fear of failure is a feeling and emotion that you are experiencing long before it's happening. So don't worry about the thing happening, because chances are it's never going to. It's actually much further away than you think. If you've invested a lot of time and money in education and online courses, that's great. You've got a great starting block, but typically we find that people do that because they're kind of procrastinating around the idea of actually starting. Think about who you want to help. Just don't worry about the products or services. Think about who you want to work with. Who pulls at your heartstrings? Who do you think is a worthwhile cause of helping out? And that's who you want to focus on. Everything that you want is on the other side of fear. It's never going to get better. It's never going to get easier. Make sure that you just kind of take it with a lot of humility and realize that, yeah, you're probably going to fuck it up a few times. In fact, I'm even speaking at an event where I talk about quite a big failure of mine, which we had 2013, 14, can't really remember. So yeah, it's going to happen. Celebrate those failures. They're going to be small when you start out, but until you start doing it regularly, you're never going to grow. Jamie Lalark says, what do you do to always be energetic and in a good mood? I'm going to be honest with you, Jamie, I'm not always in a good mood. So something that a couple of my friends recently learned is that I've got a filthy temper. In fact, I've got real anger issues. Genuinely, I've got real fucking anger issues. And I get the red mist, and, you know, I'm not proud to say it, but I've stepped out of my car a few times to have conversations with other drivers, and, you know, we've got into altercations and stuff. So I'm not always in a good mood. I think I am more positive recently, and certainly I would consider myself a very positive thinker. And the reason for that is, the truth is, there's not anything I did. I committed to that. In fact, I was walking literally down this street here where I live, and I was listening to, it probably was Grant Cardone, I think, and it was about commitment. And I was like, I'm going to commit now to being in the best possible shape that I can be, both physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, entrepreneurially, all of it. And I had to commit to my audience of funnel builders and marketing agencies. As soon as I said, I'm going to commit to that, I'm going to commit to live more, I'm going to commit to myself more, I'm going to commit to my friends more, to my audience, to my business, it kind of changed how I thought. And it was like, okay, well, I'm in this now. I'm in the fight. I've got 12 rounds to go. I might as well give it everything I've got. So through saying to myself, I'm going to commit to it and doubling down, and not even accepting that there was an out or a second option, kind of has forced me to think, well, the best way to get something out of that is by being positive. The second thing is as well, there's other stuff as well that we've talked about. You know, I try to get a decent night's sleep. I try to go to bed and get up at the same time. I eat a relatively healthy diet. I exercise a lot. But if you'll watch my podcast interview with my friend and customer Warren Munitz from Integrative Coaching, there's a lot of things that I've had to really understand deep down about why I am the way I am. What do I really want from the world? What do I want? And I'm a big believer that if you want positivity, if you want money, if you want energy, if you want income and influence and fame, your job is to help other people get that. If I want more money, I should help other people get more money. If I want more influence, I should help other people get more influence. And I want more positive energy, so I give people more positive energy. And I think that's returned to me tenfold. So it's not necessarily a case of what do I do to try and trick myself into being positive. It's more, what do I do to justify why I'm so positive all the time? So I hope that helps. It's a good question though. Jamie, you've also asked a question, how do you handle personal life distracting you during office hours? So how do you handle personal life distracting you during office hours? Really good question. First of all, headphones. Whenever my headphones are on, people don't talk to me. Liv also is very, very good. I will tell her for the next 2 hours I'm just recording videos or I'm writing, and she really won't disturb me. I also put my phone downstairs. I don't have my phone on me when I'm working and writing. I limit the number of ways that personal life could distract me. In fact, this kind of the past 2 months have actually been pretty rough for us. We've had quite a few deaths in the family, unfortunately, and quite a few accidents, not just the one that I've kind of vlogged about. We've had a few other people, and we have had a lot of life distractions. It's not necessarily, I think, a case of ignoring it. It's about giving it enough time. So I've said to myself now, from 3 o'clock onwards every single day, if there is something that we need to do as a family, that is my priority. Now, obviously, a big emergency takes precedence over anything, but in terms of little life distractions like family and dogs and stuff, I've told them, I've said, hey man, I'm going to be working for the next 2 hours. I promise you we'll go for a walk. I promise you we'll go out for a meal. I promise you I'll spend time with you. And most people are pretty good when you tell them what you want to do. And I eliminate the likelihood of distractions by like leaving my phone and stuff downstairs. Amy Keys, are you and Liv staying through the weekend after the recurring revenue retreat in Orlando to celebrate my birthday on August 31st? We are going to be around. I think on Saturday we are going to do a nudist run, which is a 5K run just outside of Orlando in the Buff. So I don't know if you want to hang around with us on that day, but we are going to be around. We're going to do Tuesday to Tuesday, Amy. So yeah. Emily Grau asks, if you had to stay subscribed to only 3 marketing lists and clean all the rest, who would they be? Really good question. That would be Miles Beckler, without a doubt. Anything Miles has to say, I want to read. Probably Grant Cardone's as well. I absolutely love Grant Cardone's content. And I think if I had to pick one other person, it would actually probably be Troy still from WP Elevation. His email marketing recently, if anyone's checking out his email marketing, his sales pages, they are fucking on fire. If you want a great course sales emails and sales page, you should check out some of his recent stuff. Another question from Emily, are you more Blur or Oasis? I guess Blur. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of either of them. I love the Gorillaz. I absolutely love the Gorillaz. Oasis, I think, are massively overrated, but I think they were just slightly the wrong side of my age for me to be able to kind of get anything from them. Teresa Kwan asks a fantastic question here. If you burned it all down and built another business, what would it be and why? If I burnt it all down and had to build another business, what would it be and why? It would probably be... if I had to start again, Teresa, I would probably get into food again, maybe. I've often thought about starting a food YouTube channel, a food blog. There's a lot of it out there, and obviously I'd have to find a niche, that I wanted to fulfill, but it'd probably be something along those lines. That or some kind of education for kids, like just building out education programs for kids on entrepreneurship and stuff like that, which we're actually kind of close to doing anyway. But that's a really good question, actually. Maybe I need to think about that more. But yeah, if it burnt down tomorrow and I had to start again, assuming I couldn't just start up the same type of business, which would be sales training, and I had to do something completely different, it would probably be food. Yeah, I'd do food. Emily asks, do you agree that life is too short to live a boring life? Yes. If your top values would be fun and pleasure, what would be your niche? Again, probably food, actually. Although having said that, I really enjoy educating people. I like selling. I like teaching people how to motivate themselves. Maybe something around the fact of, teaching people to understand how to go after it, what it is that they want to go after. I like writing content, so maybe how to create content. Actually, Teresa, that would probably be a good one. I'd probably do a content creation business. How to write books, how to create videos and stuff like that. I'd really dig deep into that and choose that for a particular niche. So yeah, Emily and Teresa, kind of couple those in together. Todd E. Jones asks, why do you look so much like John Wick? I'm assuming you mean, why do I look so much like Keanu Reeves? Bizarrely, I get that a lot. I can't see it. Even as I look at the camera here, I can't see it myself. But I get that from a lot of people asking me why I look like Keanu Reeves. Matthew Tusa asks, there's a zombie apocalypse and they're at your door and time is short. What are the 3 things you grab and why? So, assuming we are in zombie apocalypse mode and true zombie apocalypse mode, I think I would start with... I'm not going to say anything sentimental because this is a run and fight situation, Matthew. So you've kind of... All right, I'll tell you what I do. I go out to the shed, I grab my crowbar, because I think the crowbar is probably the most valuable thing that I could get. I grab the Kelly kettle that I've got, which is basically a piece of cooking equipment that allows you to purify water and boil it and use it. And I throw that into my rucksack. Can I have the rucksack as a non-item item? Can I just say that my bug out bag rucksack is that? So I grab that. I grab... the Kelly kettle. You should look that up. Kelly kettle. Kelly kettle, my crowbar, and probably a med kit, I guess. If this is genuine, like, zombie apocalypse, that's what I'd go for. If, on the other hand, you mean, like, from a sentimental perspective, what would I grab? That's a really good question. I'd grab the little dinosaur that Liv made me. This one here. kind of when we first started going out, she crocheted me a little dinosaur, which I absolutely love, so I grabbed that. I'd also grab my Pounamu necklace, my Maori jade Pounamu necklace. I'm going to be honest with you, man, I'm not a particularly, it sounds quite harsh, I'm not a particularly sentimental person. I'm also not that bothered about stuff. So, I don't know, there isn't anything in particular that I would grab from a sentimental perspective, as long as Liv and my family were safe. I know it sounds really sappy and everyone fucking says that, but my mum thinks I'm like a cold hard sociopath. Whenever we go into the loft, she's like, oh look, it's your little boots from you were a little boy. I'm like, throw them. She says, and we're like, it's like, oh look, it's your portfolio work from university when you were only a young man. I'm like, get rid of it, I don't care. Dump it. So I'm not that. I don't really care about keeping stuff like that. So yeah, from a zombie perspective, I absolutely fucking know what I'd go for. Kelly kettle, crowbar, and a med kit inside my rucksack. Love that question, by the way. Final question. Belinda White asks, what microphone do you use when you are on the co-working space? Your sound last week was really great on the WP Elevation UK call last Friday. So I have a Jabra headset. I have no idea what model number it is because it's not here, but I also have a HyperCloud X noise cancelling microphone as well. I'll put links to both of them in the below, but yeah, they are good. They've both got noise cancelling microphones for when you're recording content. So yeah, get a decent headset. As a rule with video, actually, the video quality doesn't matter as much as the audio quality. So yeah, that's what I use. But I'll link those down below. I've got another one of these videos coming out soon because there were too many questions to answer. So, which is awesome, obviously. So I'll do my best to go through those soon. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have got any questions at all for me, whether they are funnel related or non-funnel related, let me know in the comments below and I'll add those to the list, and we'll keep doing this pretty regularly because I liked answering these questions. In the meantime, if you are a funnel builder, go ahead and click subscribe or hit like. In the meantime, I will see you on the next video. Cheers, guys. Keep building those funnels.